A class which is declared by using a abstract keyword is known as abstract class in Java. If I use the keyword abstract to define the method, then I don't have any implementation part of that. The method which I'm going to declare inside the interface does not contain any body. Hello to all, a warm welcome to my new session on inheritance and polymorphism. I'm your Revati ma'am, faculty from the Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So dear student, before going to start my today's session, let me to recall the topic what I have discussed. So dear student, in my last session, I started with overriding methods. So what is overriding? So dear student, when you encounter the topic overriding method, just you have to remember that you're going to have one parent class and you're going to have one child class, and under both the class I have same method with same parameter that is known as method signature. Okay, so for example, if I have D function and here also I have D function, and if I check the signature, both will have same signature, and this is known as method overriding. In the sense, this method which is present in the child class is going to override the method of parent class. Now, I have discussed polymorphism in Java. Poly in the sense what? Many. And morphism in the sense what? Form. So, many forms. So, dear student, if I consider polymorphism, I have two type of polymorphism, static polymorphism as well as dynamics polymorphism. And if I consider static polymorphism, what is the example? That is method overloading. Method overloading. And if I consider the dynamic polymorphism, then method overriding and operator overloading. So these are the two type of polymorphism we are going to get under Java programming language. Along with that, I have discussed what is upcasting and what is downcasting. So dear student, if I want to convert the object of one class to another type of the object, then I'm going to have the upcasting as well as downcasting. And from the examination point of view, the upcasting as well as downcasting is very important. Now, in my today's session, I'm going to start with abstract. So, what is abstract class? What is abstract method? Along with that, I'm going to deal with what is interface in Java, and along with that, relationship between class and interface. Along with that, I'm going to deal with relationship between classes as well as interface. Along with that, I'm going to discuss difference between class and interface. Along with that, I'm going to deal with how to implement the interface and how can I extend the interface. And dear student, please take a note and make a point, because this topic is very important, because if I want to implement multiple inheritance, then I must use interface. So dear student, let me to start my session with the topic that is abstract class in Java. So dear student, just imagine that I just have bus chassis. Okay, I just have bus chassis and I'm going to design the seat seating capacity, everything based on my interest and based on my need. So abstract in the sense what? Just outlet. Okay, I'm going to get the just outlook. Okay, fine. So a class which can be declared with the abstract keyword is known as abstract class. So dear student, if I consider abstract class in Java, I have a method and I'm going to have only abstract method as well as abstract data members in my class. In the sense, I'm going to write the code in my next class. That's nothing but the implementing class, in the sense where I'm going to implement the code for that method. There I'm going to write the code. So here a class which is declared by using a abstract keyword is known as abstract class in Java. For example, think that I have a class. So I'll start with the keyword abstract. Okay. I have a abstract class called A. Okay. And inside this class, I'm going to have the abstract data members as well as abstract method. So, class can be defined abstract by using abstract keyword, and it can have abstract methods as well as non-abstract method. Now, the question arises, what is abstract method and what is non-abstract method? So, abstract in the sense what? I'm just having the blueprint. So, I'm just having the method signature and where I'm going to write the implementation part in my class, in the sense where I'm going to implement the interface. So, here non-abstract in the sense what? Here non-abstract method is nothing but the method. Along with method signature, I'm going to have the method body. So that is known as non-abstract method. So it is method with the body. Abstract is a process of hiding the implementation details. So there are certain time what I want to do, I just want to hide the details. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the data abstraction, in the sense I'm going to provide only the essential features to the user and I'm going to hide rest of the important features from the user. So dear student, if I consider WhatsApp, okay, I can able to use the WhatsApp to make a video call or to chat, to send the audio message, video message, to take the pic. Okay, these are the certain use of WhatsApp. Now think that, okay, I know how to use the WhatsApp, but I'm not going to bother about how this WhatsApp software is built, in the sense how this WhatsApp app is built, what is the back end, how the backends are established, how the systems are going to communicate. So these are the certain thing is hidden from the user, that is known as data abstraction. And if I consider SMS, okay, think that I want to send a text SMS and I'm going to send the text SMS, but I'm not going to bother how I'm going to send the SMS and how the computer or how the mobile is going to identify the receiver, what is the communication path, all those things are hidden by the user. So dear student, data abstraction is a process of hiding the implementation details and showing only functionality to the user. Now this is the advantage of data abstraction, in the sense we can able to provide data security. Now dear student, a class which is declared as abstract is known as abstract class. It can have abstract method and non-abstract method. Okay, now I know what is abstract class. Suppose if I want to hide the features from the user, I'm going to use abstract keyword. Now, what's the advantage? I can able to secure my data. Now, what are the things I want to remember while using abstract class in Java? So, dear student, an abstract class must be declared with an abstract keyword. Suppose if I want to create abstract class in Java, then what keyword I want to use? That is abstract. So, dear student, it can have abstract and non-abstract methods, and it cannot be instantiated, in the sense I am not able to create the object for the abstract class. It can have constructor and static method also, in the sense in my abstract class I can able to have static methods as well as constructor, and I can have final keyword which will force the superclass not to change the body of the method. In the sense in my abstract class I can able to use constructor as well as static methods as well as finally methods. Now, dear student, I'm going to have the abstract method. Till now we were discussing about what is abstract class. To create abstract class, I'm going to have abstract method. And why I required abstract class? Because I want to hide certain features from the user. To hide the features, what I will do? I'm going to use abstract class. Similarly, I'm going to have the abstract method. Then what is abstract method? I'm just having the method declaration, in the sense I'm just having the signature of the method, and where I'm going to write the implementation in my other class. So, a method which is declared as abstract and does not have implementation. So, dear student, if I use the keyword abstract to define the method, then I don't have any implementation part of that. So, it does not have implementation and it is known as abstract method. For example, to define abstract method, first I want to use the keyword abstract and I want to specify the data type. So, here it is void and I'm going to have the method name. Now, dear student, I'm going to have this simple example to illustrate abstract method as well as abstract class. Now, think that I want to create abstract class. To create abstract class, I'm going to use abstract keyword. Now, if I consider run, now see here, this is of type abstract method because I don't have any implementation part here. Now see here, to implement run method, or suppose if I want to write the code for run method, what I want to do? I want to inherit abstract class with the child class or the new class. So, I'm going to use the word extends. Now see here, for this run method, I'm going to write the implementation and I have the method, that is main method, and see here, for the abstract class, I'm going to create the object, okay, and here new, and I'm going to have AB extends. So, this is my child class and this is my parent class, and this type of conversion is known as upcasting. With the help of OBJ, I'm going to call this run method, and what is the output of this program? That is example for abstract class. Now, dear student, I'm going to have the interface in Java. So dear student, what is interface? Okay, and what is the need of interface and why I want interface in Java? So dear student, we came to know that we cannot able to implement multiple inheritance, and to implement multiple inheritance in Java, I'm going to have this special concept called interface. So an interface in Java is a blueprint of a class. What it is? It's nothing but the blueprint or template of a class, and it has static, constants and abstract method. So dear student, think that I have created a interface called int1, and inside this, if I have a method called void run, then what is the meaning of this method? This method is by default, it is static and it is constant and it is abstract. So abstract in the sense what? I don't have any implementation of this method in this interface. So the interface in Java is a mechanism to achieve the data abstraction. So dear student, if I want to achieve data abstraction, then what I will do? I'm going to use interface. There can be only abstract methods. In the sense, in my interface, I can have only abstract methods. And it is used to achieve abstraction and multiple inheritance. So dear student, what is the need of interface? Because if I want to implement data abstraction as well as multiple inheritance, then I'm going to use interface. So in other words, you can say that interface can have only abstract methods and variables. So in simple word, what I can able to tell, that I can have only abstract methods and variables, and it cannot have a method body. That means the abstract method, what I'm going to define in my interface, that does not have any implementation. Now, why use Java interface? So there are two reasons. One is to achieve the data abstraction. Another one is to support multiple inheritance. And what is multiple inheritance? When I have two parent class and I have only one derived class, okay, then this is known as multiple inheritance. And to achieve multiple inheritance as well as data abstraction, I'm going to have interface. Now, how to declare an interface? So dear student, till now we were discussing about what is interface and what is the need of interface. Now let me to discuss how to declare the interface. To declare the interface, what I required? I required interface keyword. So what I will do? I'll write the keyword interface and I'm going to specify the interface name. So that is nothing but XYZ. And within this interface, I can have static, constant, abstract method. In the sense, whatever the method I'm going to write in this interface does not have any implementation. So an interface is declared by using the keyword interface, and it provides data abstraction. Means all the methods in the interface are declared with the empty body. So the method which I'm going to declare inside the interface does not contain any body, and all the fields are public, static, final by default. So dear student, if I write void A, okay, Okay, then what's the meaning? Compiler is going to understand that this A, that is method A, is of type public and it's of type static and it's of type final. A class that implements an interface. So, where I'm going to implement the interface, in that class I'm going to write the body of the function. Now, dear student, let me to write the syntax. Okay, to create the interface, I'm going to have the keyword interface and I want to specify the interface name. Along with that, I'm going to have constant fields as well as methods. Okay, and whatever the method I'm going to have, that is by default public, static and abstract. Now, internal addition by the compiler. That means what is going to happen during the execution of the interface. So, dear student, in other words, interface fields are public, static and final by default and the methods are public and abstract. So, dear students, see here, this is the actual code I'm going to have. So, what is my interface name? That is printable and I have int min equal to 5 and I'm going to have the method called print. And when I execute this program, what the compiler will do? It's going to consider this int min as final, static and public. And what about the method? It is public abstract. And if I consider this method, it does not have any implementation, in the sense it does not have any method body. And where I'm going to write the body of this method, where I'm going to implement the interface. Anyway, dear student, this is the internal representation of interface. Now, dear student, I'm going to have the relationship between class and inheritance. So, dear student, if I consider, okay, this is the relationship between class and interface. See here, if I have class and this is the class, and where we saw this kind of representation in our inheritance, and this is the best example for single inheritance. Single in the sense what? Only one parent and only one child. Okay, now this is the existing class and this is the new class. I'm going to get all the features from existing class to new class. And if I consider this is the example for, okay, single interface. See, I have one interface and one class. And if I'm going to have interface, then I want to use the keyword implements. See here, both are classes, so I'm going to use the keyword extends. And if I consider this one, when I have two interfaces, then I'm going to use the keyword extends. When one interface and one class, then it is implements. When I have both the interfaces, then I'm going to use extends keyword. Now, see here, I'm going to have this simple example program to illustrate interface. So, dear student, what is the interface name? That is L example, and I have the method. And what kind of method? It is abstract method, and I does not have any method implementation here. And see here, I have the class called A6 and this is my interface. So, what is my keyword here? That is implements. So, I am going to implement L example in my class A6. Now, see here, what is my method? That is display. and I'm going to write the body of the display method in my class A6. Now I have a main method and I'm going to create the object of the class A6, because for the interface we cannot able to create the object. Only for the class I can able to create the object. So for the class A6 I'm going to create the object and I'm going to call display method, and what is the output I'm going to get? Example for interface. Anyway, dear student, now I'm going to have the difference between class and interface. See here, it is my class and this is my interface. If I consider class, okay, the member of a class can be constant or variable. In the sense, whatever the member I'm going to have in my class can be of type constants and variables. And if I consider interface, then I can have only constants. Okay, then I can have only constant value. The class definition can be contain the code for each of its method. In the sense, in my class, for each and individual method, I can have body of the method. But what about in my interface? Interface can have only abstract method. In the sense, I'm not going to write the body. And where I'm going to write the body? Where I'm going to implement the interface. In that class, I'm going to write the body of that method. It can be instantiated by declaring object. In the sense, I can able to invoke the methods by using objects. But in interface, I cannot able to declare the objects, but I can able to inherit by a class. In the sense, I can able to inherit the interface, but I cannot able to create the object of that. Now, it can use various access specifiers like public, private and protected. And if I consider interface, the access specifier is always, it is public. These are the some of the difference between class and interface. Now, let me to discuss how can I implement interface. So, dear student, if I want to write the code for the abstract method, then what I want to do? I want to implement the interface in any class. So, a class uses the implement keyword to implement an interface. The implements keyword appears in the class declaration following the extends portion of the declaration. So, dear students, see here, I have a interface called int1. Okay, I have an interface called int1 or interface 1. Now, this interface have only abstract methods as well as fields. Now, okay, where I'm going to write the body of the method inside the class. So, what I want to do? I want to implement the interface in my class. So, interface name, implements keyword and class name. Now, dear student, how I'm going to extend the interface? So, there are certain time I'm going to have more than 2 interface, and if I want to club the all the features of interface 1 in interface 2, then I'm going to use extends keyword. So, an interface can be extended another interface in the same way that class can be extended another class. So dear student, just remember how we extended single inheritance. So one inheritance and another inheritance. To use the features, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the keyword extends. Similarly, you just think that you have interface 1, int1. So this is one interface and you have another interface int2. Now, if I want to use the properties of interface 1 in my interface 2, then I want to use the keyword extends. So I'm going to use the keyword extends. So the extends keyword is used to extend an interface and the child interface inherits the method of the parent interface. So this is the example. Okay, what is my interface name? That is int1. And I have another interface called int2 and I'm going to use the keyword extends. So this is the way I can able to extend the interface. Anyway, dear student, in my today's session, I started with what is abstract keyword, what is abstract class and what is abstract method. Now, along with that, I have discussed what is interface, how to create interface, how to implement interface and how to extend interface. But in my next session, I'm going to deal with packages. In that, I'm going to deal with how to create a package, how to compile a package and how to run a package. So these are the certain topic I'm going to deal in my next session. Anyway, dear student, let's meet in the next session with the new chapter, that is package. Until that, keep watching and keep learning. Thank you.